Welcome back. Today's Thursday, July 6, 2023, and this is my election prediction video for Tim Scott versus Joe Biden. First, I'd like you to like, subscribe, and comment if you end up liking this video, and stay tuned for the rest of the video because it'll be an interesting prediction. So first, as always, I'll start by filling in the safe states for both Tim Scott and Joe Biden. Next, I'd like to preface why each candidate is important in this cycle around. So first, Joe Biden, he's the current president of the United States, winning the 2020 US presidential election. But Tim Scott is who this prediction is actually focused on, and he's one of the leading candidates for the presidency from the Republican side. Though he's only polling at around 7%, he is one of the top contenders to take down Trump if that is possible. Tim Scott, what makes him special is that he's a senator from South Carolina, but more importantly, if he wins, it will be historic as he would be the first African American Republican president. So this may sway some voters to vote for his platform, and I'll start by mentioning some of his accomplishments. So some of his accomplishments include being a ranking member on both the Senate Banking Committee and the Senate Aging Committee, and as for his beliefs, he's extremely anti-abortion. He wanted Trump to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement and was ultimately successful, and promotes cultural assimilation for immigrants by making them have to learn English. Additionally, I'd like to start by looking at favorability ratings for both Tim Scott and Joe Biden. So as we can see, Joe Biden has an overall disapproval of 13.8%, whereas Tim Scott is overall favorable by 4.3%. However, less people are actually voting in Tim Scott's favorability polls because less people actually know about him, which is why it only adds up to about 50% versus Joe Biden's poll adding up to almost 100%. However, it is clear that Tim Scott is more favorable than Joe Biden by the average voter, according to the polls by 538. So, I believe that this may sway some states that otherwise voted for Biden and would not vote for Trump, as Tim Scott has also higher approval than Trump. Some states that voted for Biden and not Trump may switch to Tim Scott. Two of these being Nevada and Arizona, who were both swing states and extremely close in the 2020 US presidential election, and have had at least one Republican serving in the higher offices of the state as of late, with Arizona prior to the 2022 election having a Republican governor, and Nevada after the 2022 election having a Republican governor. Next, I'll move on to Minnesota. Minnesota has voted for the Democrats for as long as I can remember, and even voted against Ronald Reagan, and will therefore not vote for Tim Scott. Wisconsin, though Ron Johnson won by a slim margin, I believe that Tim Scott is a stronger candidate than Ron Johnson and will win in Wisconsin. Michigan, as I mentioned before, has a Democrat governor, 2 Democrat senators, and will most likely vote Democrat, as it has been polling for the Democrats. Same with New Hampshire. New Hampshire voted for Biden by a large margin, especially for a swing state, and will vote for Biden once more. Pennsylvania, which went to John Fetterman in the 2022 U.S. Senate election, may flip to Tim Scott. It was one of the closer states in the 2020 U.S. presidential election. And though Philadelphia is carrying it for the Democrat side, Tim Scott may be seen as a better candidate. So I will give Pennsylvania to Tim Scott. Also, Ohio has been going more Republican and will likely go to Tim Scott as well. North Carolina voted for Ted Budd in the 2022 election, voted for Trump in 2020, and will vote for Tim Scott. Georgia and Florida are both swing states, though Florida has been voting more Republican as of late and will go to Tim Scott. And Georgia barely voted for Biden and barely voted for its 2 senators as of current, and has a Republican governor, and I believe that Tim Scott will sway enough voters to his side for him to flip Georgia. And therefore, due to Tim Scott's high approval and possible milestone, I believe that he will beat Joe Biden 297 to 241 and will become the president in 2024 if he wins the Republican nomination. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment your opinion, and thank you.